a routine specifically for Biellmann spin, or also known as dancer pose in yoga. Let's get started in child pose. Spread apart your legs about mat width apart and extend your arms out in front of you, lowering your forehead to the mat. Stay here in this pose and breathe, feeling a stretch in your inner thighs and also noticing your breath and getting ready for the routine. And come up into tabletop position with wrists under your shoulders and knees under your hips. Inhale, coming into cow pose as you drop your belly towards the mat. And exhale into cow pose, rounding your back, tucking your tailbone and bringing your chin into your chest. Repeat this several times at your own pace. And then let's start to create rotational movements with our torso, so we are in tabletop. Begin in any direction most comfortable to you and continue the rotations. Stop as you reach back into cow pose and switch directions. And then return to tabletop. Inhale as you lift your right arm up towards the sky, opening your chest. Exhale as you lower and placing your shoulder on the mat in between your left hand and leg. Hold here. And then release and start to return to tabletop position. Repeat on the opposite side. Lift your left hand up towards the sky, open your chest, and lower your arm in between your arm and leg. And release and return to tabletop. Begin to walk out your arms in front of you and at the same time lower your chest to the mat to come into puppy pose. This is a great pose to stretch our upper back. You can use a block underneath your chin if you want a deeper stretch. And hold here and remember to breathe at your own breathing pattern. And start to release and walk into cobra pose with your hands still out in front of you. Gaze up towards the sky. Exhale and lower down. Adjust your hands so you get a deeper bend in cobra on your next lift. Then shift all the way up and sink back into your heels for child pose. Inhale and return to cobra. And then alternate again to sink back into child pose. Repeat this several times. And then lower your chest to the mat. And inhale to come up into a couple more cobra poses. And then on your final cobra pose, transfer your weight to your right arm and reach for your leg with your left hand, rotating your upper body to open your chest. Hold here. Release and then switch sides. And then release and lower back down to the mat. Since Biellmann and Dancer involved the arm as well, let's do some stretches. Extend your left arm to your side and start to open your chest to your right side, bringing your right leg over your left. If this is too much, please do not go any further past the point of pain and open your chest as far as comfortable. Then release, and then switch sides to extend your right arm out this time. Then release and return on your stomach. We're going to do another arm stretch, this time bending our elbow at a 90-degree angle. The stretch is much more intense since the range of motion is much less, so this will feel more uncomfortable than the previous stretch. So remember, do not go any more past the point of pain if you feel any of that. And release, and then repeat on the opposite side. And then release and return to your stomach. Come up into tabletop position. We will do balancing table. Extend your right leg back and left arm forward. Make sure to keep your core locked on a flat back. Lower and repeat on the same side 2 more times. Then switch sides and extend your left leg back and your right arm forward. Repeat 2 more times. And then return to tabletop, and we are going to do quick leg extensions. Bring your knee into your chest and kick your left leg back, lifting it up almost like a spiral, arching your back and shifting your gaze up. Start with whichever leg feels comfortable and repeat several times. Then switch and repeat on the opposite side. And return to tabletop, come into tiger pose, lift your left leg up and reach for your foot with your right hand as you maintain your balance on your right shin and left palm. You can grab the inside or outside of your foot. You can also tuck your toes for better balance if necessary. And then release and switch sides, reaching for your right foot with your left hand this time. One side may feel a bit more balanced than the other. And release. Sit back on your heels, keeping your toes tucked to stretch your feet. Bring your hands together behind your back and slightly arch your back for a heart opening pose. Release, and then you may stay in this position for a bit to feel that extra stretch for your feet that we often forget about. And then come up onto your knees and place your hands on your lower back. Begin to bend back, shifting your gaze up towards the sky. We are prepping here for camel pose. You can bend even further if you feel comfortable, and then release and lower into child pose as a counter pose. Come back up onto your knees. Let's do several side stretches, reaching for your left heel with your left hand first and then to your right. Repeat this several times. Then if you feel ready, let's go into camel pose. Begin to reach for your heels with your hands and hold this pose. To come out, release one side first and then the other and lower into child pose. And then come up into tabletop, and then if necessary, you can also do a few cat and cow stretches and torso rotations. Let's move into hip stretches now. Come into a low lunge. Place your right leg forward with knee bent at a 90-degree angle and your left knee resting on the mat. Shift your weight forward for a stretch and hold. Inhale and lift your arms up towards the sky. And then if you can, lower your hands by your sides, coming into a slight back bend here. And then release and shift your weight up so your hip and knee are in one line. Bring your arms up towards the sky and bend towards your right side, feeling a nice stretch in your side. Then release and bring your left palm down to the mat. Bend your left knee and grab hold of your foot with your right hand. Bend forward and down to feel a deeper stretch in your hip flexor. You may need to adjust to feel comfortable. And then release and shift back into half split. I like to alternate between keeping my foot flexed and pointed to get a nice stretch in my hamstring and calf. And then here you can alternate as often or in as much as you feel you have stretched comfortably for you. Then release and place your right shin along the top of the mat in pigeon pose. You can keep your leg at a 90-degree angle for a deeper hip stretch, or bring your foot in closer to your inner thigh for less of a stretch. Lower to the mat and hold the stretch here. And then slowly come up and begin to come out of the pose. Next we will do Skandasana, which is a side stretch for our inner thighs. Bend into your right leg and extend your left leg. You can hold your arms out in front of you or bring them to heart center. Then shift and bend into your left leg and extend your right leg. next, come into wide-legged forward fold. Bring your hands together and over your head for the extra stretch. And then let's go ahead and repeat our hip stretches on the opposite side. Start in a low lunge. And then bring your arms up towards the sky. And then if you can, lower your hands by your sides for an extra stretch. Then release and shift your weight up so your hip and knee are in one line. Bring your arms up towards the sky and bend towards your left side, feeling a nice stretch in your side. Release and bring your right palm down to the mat. Bend your right knee and grab hold of your foot with your left hand. Bend forward and down and feel a deep stretch in your hip flexor. You may need to adjust to feel comfortable here. Release and shift back into half split. I like to alternate between keeping my foot flexed and pointed to get a nice stretch in my hamstring and calf. Alternate here as often and as much as you feel you have stretched comfortably for you. And then release and place your left shin along the top of the mat in pigeon pose. You can keep your left leg bent at a 90-degree angle for a deeper hip stretch, or bring your foot in closer to your inner thigh for less of a stretch. Lower to the mat and hold the stretch. And then begin to come out of this pose. From here, bring the soles of your feet together and come into bound angle pose. Walk out forward with your hands to lower down to the mat. You can place blocks underneath your knees if necessary. And then release and extend your legs out. Inhale and exhale as you fold. Hold a stretch here and breathe. And then let's lay back and let's do happy baby pose, which is a lovely hip opener pose. Hold either the inside or the outside of your soles and rock side to side. Then release and bring your right knee to your chest and across your body, bringing it down to the mat. Extend your right arm to the side as well as your gaze. And then release and bring your knee to your chest, and then let's repeat on the opposite side. then release. And as a final pose, let's come into plow pose. Bring your legs together or one by one over your body, placing your toes into the ground above your head. Tuck your chin to keep your neck straight. Initially, it may be difficult to feel how to straighten out your back, but with practice, that will happen. Just make sure you keep your hips in line with your shoulders. And then slowly release. Regather yourself here, and then we are going to repeat one more time. Bring your legs up above your head and hold here. And if at any point you feel a little bit too much pain, you can definitely release. Do not feel that you have to hold this pose as long as I am holding it in the video. And then release, and do not rush to get up after doing this pose. And then after you took a moment to resettle yourself, we are ready to come into our Biellmann or dancer pose. Remember to take your time and keep practicing. I use this routine almost every day and I see a huge improvement. I hope to see your beautiful Biellmanns and I hope you had a great time. See you later. Bye.